Welcome to this explainer. Listen, if you have ever stared at a blinking cursor on a blank screen, just feeling that familiar, heavy knot of anxiety in your stomach while the hours literally just tick by, I need you to know you are absolutely not alone. Maybe you've got an incredibly important email to write or a major creative project you've been dreaming about for months, but you just keep finding, completely random reasons to walk away from your desk. Well, today we're going to look at some fascinating insights that might completely reframe how you view your own workflow. We're going to dig into that deeply frustrating feeling of just not being able to start. Prepare to see your own mind in a completely different light.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's the exact question that haunts so many highly capable high achievers in the quiet moments of the night. Are you actually lazy? You know you have the capability, right? You know you have the drive and the talent to absolutely knock this out of the park. But there you are, putting things off until the absolute last possible second. We usually just blame a lack of discipline. We tell ourselves, oh, I just have poor time management, or I just need to download a new productivity app. But what if that completely 100% misses the mark?
Listen to this incredibly powerful premise from our source material. You aren't lazy. You're paralyzed by an invisible standard. Just let that sink in for a second. It's incredibly relieving to hear, isn't it? What we are establishing right out of the gate here is that your inaction is a cognitive bottleneck. It is absolutely not a moral failing. You aren't lacking character. Your brain is simply operating under a crushing set of hidden rules that are literally holding you hostage.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the massive gap between the societal myth of procrastination and the reality of a gifted brain. Society loves this myth. The myth tells us it's pure laziness, that you just want to avoid hard work. People just assume you'd rather be doing literally anything else than putting in the effort. But the reality? You aren't avoiding the work at all. Your mind is completely tangled up in analysis paralysis. Judging yourself by that societal myth is just a fundamental misunderstanding of how your brilliant mind actually operates. You genuinely want to work. You literally feel like you can't.
So, what exactly keeps you trapped in that tangled web? It really all comes down to a heavy, hidden burden, the invisible standard. This standard is defined as treating anything less than perfect as a total failure. It is an absolute, unforgiving, black and white metric. And think about how this creates an immediate trap for you. Let's say you're starting a new marketing campaign. Your brain immediately tells you it must be industry-defining and totally flawless right out of the gate, or it's a complete devastating disaster. There's absolutely zero middle ground. There's no room for a messy, rough draft. When those are your only two options, legendary execution or total failure, the stakes for simply typing the very first sentence become impossibly high. That looming threat just strips away any forward momentum you might have had.
So we know this standard is impossibly high, but we have to ask, what is the actual mechanism in your brain enforcing it? What's the true culprit behind the scenes, crunching all this data and keeping you permanently stuck in place?
So the crucial point is this fascinating, almost chaotic collision of two things: maladaptive perfectionism and a restless mind. You take that maladaptive perfectionism, that really unhealthy, rigid demand for flawlessness we just talked about, and you combine it with a mind that literally never stops. A restless mind that is constantly buzzing, searching, questioning, and analyzing. It is the perfect storm for self-sabotage. Together, these two forces perfectly combine to just short-circuit your ability to take action.
Because when that restless mind kicks into high gear, it is all about sheer speed. Your brain doesn't just casually look at a task. It shatters it. 1,000 different variables, infinite potential outcomes, competing risks, required steps, contingency plans. Boom, boom, boom. It's firing off connections, mapping the entire project lifecycle in a matter of milliseconds.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact microsecond reality of what's happening. Step 1, a task is presented to you. Step 2, your restless mind instantly and rapidly processes infinite possibilities, paths, and potential pitfalls. Step 3, absolute analysis paralysis sets in. The entire process happens so incredibly fast that you are completely overwhelmed before your hands even touch the keyboard. You've basically already lived through the stress of the entire project in the span of a single breath.
I really want to hammer this home. You are not avoiding tasks because they are hard. It is not about the difficulty of the work. You avoid them because your brain processes the possibilities far, far too quickly. This hyperspeed processing results in immediate analysis paralysis. It's like your restless mind is essentially a high-performance sports car, engine absolutely revving, but completely spinning its wheels on a patch of ice. It's a tremendous amount of power, but you're getting zero forward traction.
But then, total stillness.
This is the paralysis paradox. Inside, your brain just ran an absolute marathon in a matter of seconds, burning through an immense amount of cognitive energy. It is exhausted, but externally, you haven't moved an inch. You're just staring at the screen. You are utterly, completely frozen by the sheer weight of your own cognitive processing speed.
Let's move to and see how this builds to the ultimate tragedy of the gifted procrastinator. Because of this hyperactive processing, you become trapped, as the material powerfully states, before they even start. You literally never even get out of the starting gate. The invisible standard and your hyperactive processing have totally defeated you. The game is lost before you've taken a single step. And honestly, it is an incredibly exhausting and frustrating cycle to be trapped in day after day.
But here's the good news. Recognizing this mechanism is the absolute first step to breaking out of the trap. Which brings us to our final, lingering question for today. What could you achieve if you finally dropped the invisible standard? If you recognize today that your hesitation isn't laziness, but simply an overloaded mental processor, how does that change your approach tomorrow? It's time to stop measuring yourself against an impossible illusion, bypass that analysis paralysis, and empower yourself to take that very first, beautifully imperfect step.